Alright, someone needs to go investigate Blaze's house right away, pal. We need to know what was inside that bag. Yes, sir.
Y'all pipe down and listen up. Y'all just been saying whatever works best for y'all. Not what works for Lotta. Lotta's here to tell y'all what works best for Lotta. And it's not much.
And the noisy one returns.
That there's the footprints of the mighty Mozilla. They ain't just some random holes dug up by that old coot.
I believe the true nature of these footprints has already been proven quite logically.
Logic schmagic. I ain't buying it. Say what you want, but I know what I saw, and I saw Mozilla.
Is she referring to how she saw Mozilla out the window of the Grand Tower? Preposterous.
Upon our journalist souls, we ain't having none of it.
That statement is an insult to journalists everywhere.
Ah, that's right. There's more to them monsters than just those footprints. I remember hearing that Sunny over there was seen with the monster earlier. I reckon that gal over there said she witnessed it herself.
When these two are together, all meaningful talk grinds to a halt. If we only knew just what the monster really was, I think those two will quiet down.
Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything you can do?
The monster's true identity. We don't have much choice. Let's see what we can do.
Isn't there something y'all ain't telling us about the monster? Nicole, ask him right now.
Hold
it. Please settle down. Regarding the true identity of that monster, I already know what it is.
What'd you say?
That's right. The video John recorded provided the hint that I needed.
What you talking about?
Miss Nichols saw Gordy when she went to check up on John's practice. At that time, she mistook something for Gordy. The monster can be seen in this photograph.
What? Ain't that just some plain old souvenir photo? I don't really think you can pull the wool over the eyes of a pro like me, do you?
What did Miss Nichols really see that she mistook for Gordy?
I think she saw the camera, actually. And it must have had like a cloth draped over it or something.
Take that!
Naturally, Gordy's true identity was this camera crane.
What?
The video John recorded was shot from fairly high up. A shot from this position would be impossible without a camera crane.
But there ain't no way Miss Nichols would mistake a camera crane for Gordy.
Objection!
I wonder about that. Miss Nichols.
Yes?
Earlier, you said the prescription for your glasses didn't match your eyesight anymore, correct?
Yes, lately it seems like my eyesight has suddenly gotten a lot worse.
So would you say that you weren't able to see Gordy very clearly in the dark?
That's right. The silhouette was all I could make out. But remember what Miss Nichols said, and I quote, "Its skin was really scaly, almost like a reptile."
Camera cranes ain't got no flesh on them, let alone skin. It's just a bare steel frame.
That is certainly true, at least in the case of this photo. However, last night it did have skin.
Y'all just doing whatever you can to get in the way of our big scoop, ain't you? You just trying to mess us up. You telling lies, you telling fibs.
That was not my intention. But since I've come this far, it's time to put an end to your nonsense. Gordy's skin is right before our very eyes. This is the skin of Gordy that Miss Nichols saw.
It's this blanket that was draped over it.
Take that!
As Miss Nichols stated in her testimony earlier, it looked like it was going to rain last night. While it never actually rained, John still covered the camera crane with a rainproof sheet, which to Miss Nichols looked like a monster's skin.
What? You gotta be kidding me!
Isn't that right, John?
Man, you saw through it all. Not bad, old man.
Unfortunately, the Gordy that Miss Nichols saw was nothing more than an illusion.
Not again. Looks like my dream shriveled up and died once again.
Mentor. Oh.
Great, now can they get out?
Seems like things are finally settled down. I really thought the boy was hiding something from me. Guess I had it all wrong.
Now that we've figured out the true form of the monster, everyone seems refreshed.
Actually, there's 2 people here who are totally bummed out.
Agent Lang!
The report is in, sir. We've got the results of President Huang's autopsy.
Good, show it to me. Contusions and bone fractures found across the body, resulting from tremendous pressure. So, this was the cause of death. In other words, he was crushed to death.
I thought as much. Not a lot of presidents get crushed to death.
The yellow stain on his chest is currently under investigation.
So something yellow stepped on him. Or something.
But it seems that gunpowder residue was found on his right hand.
Sunflower residue? I didn't know the president was into gardening. Okay, you're not even trying. Come on. No, gunpowder residue. Traces of it are left behind when a gun is fired. Since it has been found on his right hand, it's possible that the president fired a gun. A gun, huh? But we didn't find any guns when we investigated this area. I'll explain gunpowder residue. I'll have to look over the autopsy report later. Now then, Agent Lang, it seems we have our answer. The president did not die from falling off the roof of the Grand Tower. Rather, he died from being crushed under Mozilla's head. Maybe.
I can't deny it. Looks like your logic was right after all.
This means the suspicions surrounding Miss Courtney should be cleared up, right? Yes, not only the cause of death, but the time of death proves her innocence as well. Judge Courtney met with the president 2 nights ago. However, according to the autopsy report, the time of death was around 11 p.m. last night. Mozilla's head also fell last night. It matches up perfectly. That's a relief.
Not so fast!
Isn't it a bit too early to be relieved?
Agent Lang?
The president died after being crushed by the Mozilla's head. That I will admit. But the problem is, who was responsible for the falling head?
Mozilla's head fell last night, and last night the one who was at the film lot was... What are you saying? Surely you're not implying...
That's right. You killed him, didn't you? John Marsh. That pup is hiding something. He was at the scene where the body was discovered last night. He also saw the footprints. And despite that, he still claims to know absolutely nothing about the incident. Isn't that a bit too convenient?
Objection!
These footprint-shaped holes have not been proven to be related to the case. Just because he saw the holes doesn't necessarily mean that he's involved in the incident.
Not so fast!
You sure about that? Take a look at the pup's face. He looks pretty shaken up to me.
It looks like he hit the mark, but John doesn't want to talk about it.
If he doesn't feel like talking, then I have an idea of my own. Let's check the tape.
Agent Lang, what is your intention?
The police have a device that lets you analyze the video footage up close and personal. We call it enhance. Or enhancing, the enhancer. We enhance the video.
Agent Lang, you wouldn't suspect John enough to go that far to enhance a video footage? As long as John's lips are sealed, this may be the only way for us to get closer to the truth. Detective Gumshoe, if I'm not mistaken, you have that device with you, correct? Isn't it one of your 7 great secret weapons?
Mr. Analysis is ready to go, sir. Remember we used it earlier? Now we're talking.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, would you please
please perform the video analysis for us? She wants me to do it. Who knows what kind of faults that wolfman will find in it? This isn't exactly my strong suit, but I suppose I have no choice. If I remember how this works, it's been a little bit. Are there any no clues shown on the video? Let's zoom in. Hello! Who is in the dark? Enhance! This is... What's the matter? I want to see too. Huh? Eek!
Hey, what's wrong? Show it to me, I want to see.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, I request you submit the evidence to the court. Please take a look at the top right corner of the zoomed-in video.
This person is... The president!
Impossible! Huh? No way!
It seems we've finally found it at last. The evidence that points to the true killer.
This video places Jordan at a major disadvantage. You're wrong. That's not right. I didn't know anything about this.
That's not gonna cut it. It's clear that you and the victim were together at the same place where the body was later found. John Marsh, there's no doubt you killed the president.
No, this can't be. Why would you? John, please don't tell me. Didn't you really kill the president? Mr. Edgeworth, is this really decisive evidence?
Mr. Prosecutor, looks like even you can object to this. That pup said he didn't know anything, right? And yet, the president's right here in the video.
John, what are you hiding? John, please tell us the truth. The truth is, it's all my fault. John Marsh, what did you do? Mozilla's head falling. It was all my fault. No, John, say it ain't so! While I was setting up the equipment up the roof, I used the heater. After that, I went down to practice, but I forgot to turn it off. And then my mom called me, so I left the film lot. When I came back to the lot, after the phone call was over, Mozilla's head that was on the roof had fallen. And right next to it was the president lying dead on the ground. How can that be? I see. There were indeed traces that something had caught fire on the rooftop. It was just a small fire, so I was able to put it out by myself. Just a little bit of milk, just... Fortunately, I carry multiple gallons with me at all times. So, the president's death was John's fault?
But wouldn't that make this an accident, sir?
And then what did you do with the fallen head? I took it apart, brought the pieces up to the roof, and put it back together.
Knuckle back!
So you put out the fire, and even put the fallen head back on the roof. Which means you were hiding evidence. We can't be having that, you naughty little pup.
I didn't do it on purpose. I really did just forget to turn off the heater.
When the legs broke, the stand would have tilted. If Mozilla's head was on top of the stand, it would have fallen off. So the head fell down because of the fire. Yes, and if that's the case, I also have a pretty good idea what caused the fire. There's a flammable can next to the heater. It seems someone is lacking in safety awareness.
Knuckle back!
Was it really just an accident? If that's the truth, then what was the president doing here?
I don't know. There was no one else around when I was there.
You expect me to believe that? The president wouldn't have just come to a place like this without a reason, you know.
Indeed, the president's reason for coming here is still a huge mystery. 2 nights ago, he met with Judge Courtney on the roof of the Grand Tower. And last night, he was here at the film lot. Did he meet with John? I'll have to listen to John's testimony very carefully.
While I was setting up the equipment on the roof, I used the heater.
Why did you turn the heater on and then just leave it? John, you are still young. I know you get a little cold in early spring, but you shouldn't have to resort to a heater. It is precisely because he is young that he must make sure to take good care of himself. However, well, it can get a bit chilly during this time of year. I wouldn't necessarily say...
Hold it, old man. Is this really the right time to be having this argument?
Yeah, he's completely right.
John, you did well to get the better of Mr. Edgeworth, but please, mind your language.
Let's not forget that he got the better of you too, Your Honor.
I know, Mom. So, where was I? After that, I went down to practice, but I forgot to turn it off.
You forgot to turn off the heater. You didn't check it before leaving the roof.
I meant to turn it off, but I was too focused on practicing, so... Come on, everyone forgets stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah, I gotcha. I forget small things like that all the time too. Oh, like sometimes I'll forget to turn off the AC or the lights in Mr. Edgeworth's office. Or I'll jump off the ladder for his bookshelves or leave prank calls on his answering machine. I forget and I do it on purpose. But forgetting to turn off the heater is really dangerous, so you gotta be careful. Some of those things have nothing to do with forgetfulness. John, please continue.
Looks like you got it rough too, old man. Well, back to my story. Then my mom called me, so I left the film lot.
It was late at night at the film lot, and not a single member of the film crew was around. So then why did you have to leave the premises in order to answer the phone call?
I totally forgot about the phone call thing, so I kind of panicked. If I didn't answer it fast, I would have been busted for leaving the hotel without permission.
In that case, why didn't you just answer it here?
But because I was rehearsing, all the cameras and mics were on. If I talked here, every last word I said to Mom would have been caught on camera.
So he was embarrassed that the conversation with his mother would be recorded.
Anyways, I stopped practicing for a bit and rushed out of the film lot. When I came back to the lot after the phone call was over...
In that phone call, you lied and said you were at the hotel, correct? Why didn't you tell your mom that you are rehearsing?
If I told her that, she would have called the hotel and made them send me a taxi or something.
Of course I would have. A child alone on the streets at that time of night. What sort of parent would allow the child to be in such a dangerous situation? I guess kids just don't understand how the parents feel. It goes both ways, Mr. Edgeworth. Parents just don't understand. Indeed. Now then, John, please tell us about what happened after the phone call.
Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. When the call was finished, and I came back here, Mozilla's head that was on the roof had fallen.
Was there any indication the head was about to fall?
I don't know. I was focused on my rehearsal.
So you forgot to turn off the heater, which led to a fire on the roof. I would think you should have at least heard something.
Heard something? Oh, I was wearing headphones, so...
Headphones?
Listening to the movie soundtrack helps me get into the scene. I had it on full blast, and that's why I didn't hear anything.
And yet you noticed your mother's incoming call.
I had my phone on vibrate, old man. That's how I noticed. What, do you not know how phones work? Anyways, the head had fallen. And right next to it was the president, lying dead on the ground.
What was the state of the body?
I didn't get a good look, because it was dark.
He's suddenly become as quiet as a mouse. I guess John doesn't really want to remember anything about the body. Is that the only reason why he's gone so quiet? Should I press him for more details? Yes, because we haven't found much to work with. So let's do a little press. You didn't get a good look. And how did you know he was dead? He's clearly shaken. He must be hiding something. Wouldn't you normally call for help if you see someone collapsed on the ground? However, you did nothing of the sort.
But he was already dead.
Is that so? You seem quite certain that the president was already dead. Now, is there a reason for that, I wonder?
The guy was collapsed on the ground, and right next to him was the fallen monster's head. I'm not stupid. It wasn't hard to imagine what happened.
You can imagine whatever you want, but there was no way for you to know that he was dead. Are we pushing him too far, needlessly? You actually checked to make sure the president was dead, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I was scared, but I got up close to the body and checked to see if he was breathing.
I thought as much. However, why would he hide that? There must be a reason. Please tell me the state of the body at the time.
At first, I didn't know he was dead. I would have realized sooner if there had been any blood. But there wasn't a single drop, and his clothes were completely spotless. Either way, he wasn't breathing. That's how I knew he was already dead.
Would you please append those statements to your testimony?
I don't know what append means, but okay.
There was no blood and his clothes were spotless. But they were not spotless. There's yellow stuff on his chest. We're gonna press this first. So you are able to tell if he was dead because of the lack of stains on his clothes. Are you certain of that?
Of course I am. You guys saw the body too, right? So what's the big idea?
You said that the area was dark, and yet you were still able to make that observation?
I'm telling you, there wasn't a single stain on his entire body. Give it a rest, old man.
Hey, thank you, John. That was all I needed to hear. Are clean clothes that important to you, Mr. Edgeworth? Mine are freshly washed, though. Next, could you tell me how you determined the president was dead?
Well, there wasn't anything to let me know right away that he was dead, you see. But he wasn't breathing at all when I checked, so I knew he was already dead.
So we're gonna present the picture of the crime scene again, because his clothes are not spotless. His clothes were spotless.
Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with it, old man?
John, it is painfully obvious that you are desperately trying to hide something from me.
What are you going on about? I'm not hiding anything.
You are hiding something about this yellow stain on the president's clothes, correct? Why did you leave it entirely out of your testimony? The fact that you made no mention of it only serves to cast more suspicion upon yourself.
That's because...
I hope you have a convincing explanation. Judge Courtney?
Allow me to explain.
Why are you...
The yellow stain left on the president's chest is almost certainly lion lily pollen.
Lion Lily.
When I met with the president on the roof of the Grand Tower 2 nights ago, I brought him a bouquet of lion lilies. Lion lilies are beautiful flowers with stunning golden petals. Some of the pollen from the lilies must have gotten on the president's suit.
Huh? But... I didn't see any lilies in the security footage though, like you would have seen the pretty flowers.
They were simply obscured by the president's body.
Why did you bring a bouquet?
That... I cannot say.
Not so fast!
Hey, you're keeping way too many secrets. You won't tell us why you met with the president or the reason you brought him flowers?
Were you dating?
My apologies. However, I did give him the bouquet. That much is true.
But when the president's body was discovered, we didn't find any flowers.
I honestly don't know how that could be.
Hey, Miss Judge. All your answers have been too vague. You can't say this, and you don't know that. Do you accept flimsy testimony like that in your trials?
Hey, cut it out. John, I threw the flowers away.
You threw them away? So there were flowers near the body when you found it?
Yeah, that's right. They are right on top of the president's body. They've been crushed as flat as pancakes, though.
Oh, I see. So the flowers were squashed by Mozilla's head, too. A large amount of pollen got stuck to the president's suit. That seems to be the gist of it. However, why did you go out of your way to dispose of the flowers?
No reason.
So John's not going to tell us anything either. I guess mother and son both have a lot of secrets, huh?
That is not true. At the very least, I can tell you why John threw away those flowers.
Huh?
John, you saw me leaving the house with those flowers in hand, did you not?
Oh, I get it. John saw the flowers and thought of his mom. He threw them away in order to protect Judge Courtney from being suspected.
That's not true. You're all wrong.
That was his worst lie yet. So we got the bouquet. And I've updated the crime scene notes.
I often decorate our house with these flowers. The bouquet must have reminded him of me.
Knuckle back!
So the pup just happens to find the flowers from his mother's bouquet on top of the body. That's why he threw them away and kept silent about the body. Ha! That's a tiny little story if I've ever heard one.
And what's wrong with that? I suppose you prefer untidy, messy stories, Agent Lang.
Don't tell me you've forgotten already, Missy. This pup confessed that he caused the monster's head to fall last night.
Oh, that's true, but...
He's currently the only suspect in the president's murder.
It is true there are many reasons to suspect John. However, there is someone other than John who is far more suspicious.
What'd you say?
John himself was kidnapped by that very person not too long ago. And we rescued him from the refrigerated warehouse near the harbor, pal.
The refrigerated warehouse?
That's right, pal. The refrigeration wasn't turned on, so he wasn't about to freeze to death or nothing. But if he hadn't yelled out for help, we would have never found him. Once the sleeping drugs were off, he was finally able to call out for help. Sleeping drugs? Huh. If I recall correctly, when you were kidnapped. That's right, there was a bottle lying on the floor of the refrigerated warehouse. I think it was the same thing that was used on me not long ago. That Sleepy Z stuff is powerful. How about it, Agent Lang? John is clearly a victim. There is a mastermind at work behind the scenes in this case.
Knuckle back!
I don't know anything about this so-called mastermind. You say they were here last night?
I still don't know for sure yet.
Huh. It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor.
Indeed, I still don't have any evidence that ties the mastermind to this murder. Is there someone else? Is there anyone besides John who had the opportunity to murder the president? That's it? What's it? Something is it?
As I thought, in the end that pup is our only suspect.
Isn't there one more suspect, Agent Lang?
What's this?
Didn't we prove it earlier? Last night there was one more person here.
Blaze to Best. You're saying he's the one who did it?
Last night, John was not alone. Blaze to Best was here too. Shouldn't we consider him to be a new suspect?
Blaze to Best killed the president?
It's entirely possible.
Blaze to Best. It can't be. The same guy from 12 years ago?
The guy who would actually have a motive?
12 years ago. That keeps popping up. 12 years. I'm sure it doesn't matter.
Well, a lot has changed. It all happened over 12 years ago. Back then, me and my old man were close friends, and our clan protected the president's life.
Lang, don't tell me you're the one from 12 years ago.
You got it. Ain't this nice? Now you're finally going to prison, where you belong. 12 years is a long time coming for a suspended sentence. Don't you agree?
Agent Lang, what happened 12 years ago?
Nothing that concerns you.
On the contrary, it might just have some sort of connection with this case.
Knock him back!
And I suppose you have some proof, Mr. Prosecutor? Show me evidence that there's a connection between this case and the one 12 years ago.
Evidence, you say?
If you don't have any evidence, then there's no point in talking about it.
Is there any evidence that connects this case with what happened 12 years ago?
Huh. 12 years ago. We do have, let's see, this is 18 years ago, but that's the other thing. I'm still curious how that's gonna come up. Report on Nightly. In front of the flower bed, that thing he laid to rest in front of the flower bed 12 years ago, you simply must retrieve it. Is it the report on Nightly?
Take that!
This is a report written by Patricia Rowland to Blaze to Best regarding Nightly. Please read this part here.
That thing he laid to rest near the flower bed 12 years ago.
That's not all. Take a look at this as well. This letter was sent to Jill Crane, who was murdered 2 days ago. Although the sender is currently unknown, here it is written as follows. Please get revenge for 12 years ago. I guess I could have presented either one of those.
What? 12 years ago?
Agent Lang, something big is happening here. Jill Crane's murder 2 days ago, and now the president's murder today. There has to be some connection there. And the key to solving it lies in what happened 12 years ago, does it not?
You're asking me to reopen the old wounds of the Lang clan.
Agent Lang, I beg of you. Who was that just now? Who said hold it? Who held it?
Shifu!
You guys, what are you all doing here? All three of you.
We followed you here, Shifu. We heard that Shifu was investigating the incident from 12 years ago.
You idiots! I'm not your boss anymore. Get back to your own posts.
Sir, we can't do that.
What'd you say? Are you disobeying my order?
Shifu, we also beg of you, reinvestigate the SS5 incident from 12 years ago. None of us could ever forget that case. We know you feel the same way, Shifu.
Agent Lang, even your former subordinates desire to reinvestigate the case.
And you think you can solve the mysteries of that case? Perhaps
I can, with your help.
I got it. I accept your invitation.
Shifu, 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 Barnum, Barnum. Now then, with that decided, I guess it's my turn to shine. Okay. We're investigating a case from the past, right? I guess what the best tool for that is... the little Mr. Thief. Right. Well, he's not Mr. It's just Little Thief. If we have the case files from the past case, I can recreate it.
Unfortunately, I don't have the case files.
Huh? What do you mean?
Access to those case files is restricted. It's being treated as highly classified information.
Why is that?
I don't know, but it seems like there were a lot of things that they wanted to keep hidden. Even what I know is limited to what was published in the newspapers back then.
That will not be a problem. In any case, please tell us what you know.
Sure. The SS-5 incident. The incident occurred on a winter day, 12 years ago. It was the 10th of February. The police department in this country received a call from a group of kidnappers. "We've kidnapped President Wang," they said.
Kidnapped?
The SS-5 incident was the case of President Wang's kidnapping. They demanded a ransom of $100 million.
100 million? Why, just how much is that in your country's I don't know your currency. It's such a large amount, she's having trouble visualizing it. Oh, okay, no, it was just $100 million dollars. Huh?
That night, my old man was the last person to meet with the president. They were together at the Zhangfa Embassy until midnight on February 10th. After that, no one knows what the president was doing up until he was kidnapped. With the president's life at stake, the Zhangfa government frantically gathered the money. After that, the ransom was delivered, and the president was returned safe and sound.
So, President Wang has been the president since 12 years ago. That's really amazing. You guys don't have term limits or anything? Because that's maybe, odd for your government.
Well, being in office for so long is just a small part of how amazing the man is.
Lang seemed a bit happy when he said that. And what happened to the kidnappers?
Well, autopsy with covert investigation was carried out. Then a secret trial was held.
A trial? Does that mean the suspect was caught?
The suspect was Patricia Rowland.
Then the reason you came to the prison a few days ago...
Yeah, I was put on extended leave from Interpol. So I decided to go back and reinvestigate what happened 12 years ago. First, I had to get a look at the face of my target.
So the trial 12 years ago ended with a not guilty verdict.
Yeah. Back then, my old man was in charge of every aspect of the president's security. He took responsibility for the kidnapping and was relieved of his post as bodyguard. But he continued to investigate as a regular police officer until he finally found the culprit. And it was none other than Patricia Rowland. There was no way she could be innocent. However, the result was a not guilty verdict. In the end, the case went unsolved. Crushed in both body and soul, my old man resigned from the police.
What was the basis for arresting Patricia Rowland?
There was a lot of evidence. At least, that's what I think. But I can't see those documents for myself. So that's where my story ends.
What should we do? With only this much information. Even a little thief would have a hard time producing a recreation. Is there really nothing we can do? Looks like you could use some help.
Who's that?
Even more people! Come on, guys. Francisca! I'm Mr. Shield, too. We finished up with the trial and finally managed to catch up with you guys. Yeah, take this. This is... it's the case files for the SS-5 incident, sir. Oh, you just have them? I guess you're part of Interpol. Alright.
When Roland mentioned 12 years ago during the trial, it caught my interest. I looked into it immediately and got in touch with Interpol. I expected no less from you, Francisca. Don't get the wrong idea, Mars Edgeverse. I didn't prepare these documents for you, the former prosecutor. I did it for the sake of the investigation, taking up the case his father left behind.
Sis! But I thought information on the SS5 incident was restricted to the public.
That restriction was placed by the prosecutor in charge of the case, Blaise de Best. Blaise de Best was the prosecutor in charge.
Him!
However, as a result of the trial just now, Blaise's authority has been revoked. It's all thanks to his son, Sebastian. By bringing down his father, the door to this past case has been opened. Prosecutor de Best is kindly wrapping things up in Patricia Rowland's trial. He told me to relay this message to you. Leave Pops and his cohorts to me. And then he flared his hands around and pretended he was directing a song, but that wasn't fun. You guys just take care of the case on your end. He's become quite reliable, right before our very eyes. Truly. Alrighty then! This is perfect! Now that we have the files, just let the recreation to me! Indeed, well then, let us begin. According to these documents, it appears that the incident took place right in front of the Tower Plaza. Then let's head to the plaza right away! How convenient. And we're gonna leave like half the cast behind because it's getting a little... Excuse me guys, excuse me. Oh, they followed us. Oh no.